Welcome to Lesson 5 of Section 6 of the BJCP Training Program from the Brewers Anonymous Homebrew Club. We're concluding our discussion of the brewing process, and that is, as we discussed, the post-fermentation steps. All right, well, here we go. At this point, we have put a lot of work in our beer, and we are really close to serving it, drinking it ourselves, enjoying it, but we're missing one signature trait that almost every beer has, and it's at this point that we are ready to add that missing piece, and that is carbonating the beer. Typically, a commercial brewery will have a bright tank for this, and this is another separate vessel that the beer is transferred to, and CO2 is pumped in through a aeration stone for a specific length of time at a specific pressure to reach the desired volume of CO2 for that beer. That, of course, is not the only option, albeit arguably the most common one. A brewery can indeed bottle condition beer and create carbonation that way. This is where you put a bit of additional sugar and maybe a bit of yeast for filtered beers and add that beer to a bottle, and a mini fermentation occurs, creating natural carbonation. Keg conditioning is also an option, but very rarely seen on the commercial side. It's more of a homebrew thing if you're going to do it at all. And keg conditioning is the same concept of adding sugar and yeast as bottle conditioning, but in a larger volume. On the homebrew side of this, we have several steps as well, and we may also have a bright tank or even a uni tank that does the same thing that a bright tank does. We can also bottle condition or keg condition. Or we can do my preferred method, which is use an inline carbonator. But probably the most common carbonation method for homebrewers is to force carbonate a corny keg. This method involves connecting the gas line to a keg over a period of time and letting the cold beer absorb the CO2 until equilibrium is reached and the beer is carbonated. The pressure that the gas is set to is dependent on the volume of CO2 you want and the temperature of the beer. But needless to say, many options for the same result, and really no bad option when you have a carbonated beer in the end. So now we have our beer. It's ready to drink. How are we going to drink it? More specifically, what are we going to put it in so that we can get it somewhere, so that we can get it into a glass? This is where the packaging step comes in for this entire process. If we're going to fill our glass from a tap, we are going to fill up some kegs with our beer. Although serving from a bright tank is possible, but for the packaging conversation, we're going to fill kegs for our taps. We can also package our beer in single serving vessels, or what is more commonly known as cans and bottles. On the homebrew level, you pretty much have the same option, but on a smaller scale. We have smaller kegs, less bottles, and less cans, and we have, with can sealers becoming more affordable and more available as time goes on, I would not be surprised to start seeing a more even split of bottles and cans in homebrew competitions in the next few years. At this point, let's pour a beer from a bottle, a can, or tap and toast to another lesson and another section complete in the BJCP Training Program. So cheers, everyone, and I will see you in the next section.